r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. Massage therapists of Reddit. Have you ever had a sexual experience while giving a client a massage? Or, what is the creepiest thing to ever happen to you while giving a client a massage? I enjoy a good butt massage, but I don't enjoy the amount of focus it takes to keep it half-mast at most for 90 minutes instead of enjoying the massage so the undies stay on the bundies. I'm a licensed massage therapist. Serious. Let yourself relax. We have seen it all and we do not judge. Yes, whenever I see an erection tenting the sheet, I might get a little aroused because human. But because I am an LMT, it is my responsibility and profession to ignore all sexual aspects and continue to focus on the fundamental muscles during the massage. We are all human. Massage is obviously a delicate topic, so when we establish the expectations and boundaries before the massage begins, everyone can feel safe and know exactly what will and won't happen. From 19-21 I worked at a massage place as the receptionist. People used to come in all the time to ask how much massages were, and usually that was the extent of the conversation. One day a bloke walked in and asked how much the massages were. So I told him. Then he asked in an overly friendly voice if I did the massages. I naively plowed on with no. Not me. They're done by. When my boss walked out of the consultation room, he'd been in with a client and said, I do the massages. Can I help you? The guy looked instantly sheepish and couldn't get out the door fast enough. My boss said he'd overheard the guy ask if I did the massages and knew something wasn't right. He told me if that ever happened again to just say I would get the masseur for him and walk out. I'm so glad your boss was awesome, TBH. I had a very eccentric, creepy as duck, client who came into our clinic one day wanting a chewy na massage, type of Chinese massage. We usually leave the room to let the client strip down into underwear before we commence. But with this guy I had no chance to get away. Before I had time to give him a towel, he dropped his pants to reveal a sparkling blue G-string that barely kept everything in place. The guy was about 58. Huge beer gut, grey hair, gold earring, and hairy like Robin Williams. As I started the massage, the guy started to tell me that he worked as an erotic masseur specializing in body slide massage. This is where the masseur gets soiled up and rubs his body and genitals all over before ducking the client at the end. The whole time I was massaging him he kept telling me that I was really good with my hands. He also repeatedly told me how good he was at his job and plugging his business with a hinting tone. A very awkward session. I can smell this story. I had a guy tell me, stop teasing. You know exactly what you're doing. Don't start me up and not finish. Studying to be licensed, but I volunteer my services at a harm reduction clinic. You know what you're doing, you mean the job you got hired to do? I do home visits. I'm male. Had a particular client 3 times. Usually I have clients stripped down to their underwear. The second session he got nude, but I didn't think much of it as he seemed okay. At the end of the third session, as I was massaging his neck while he's on his back, he just started jerking off. I was kind of shocked in the moment and didn't know what to do. He reached for my hand as if to get me to finish him off, and at that point I stood up and said I have to go. Was fairly awkward waiting for him to get dressed so I could pack my table and get my money and leave. I've had a couple of incidents in my 5 years. Female therapists would have it much worse. Sucks that massage is associated with the sensual sexual, because I really like helping people overcome aches and mobility issues, but it's hard to advertise without getting calls from guys wanting their dong tugged. I love a good therapeutic massage, but they are so pricey. So I am always looking for a place that'll give me a decent massage at an affordable price. Which means I end up shopping around from time to time. I went into a massage shop in our downtown that had a great deal advertised on their front window for 90 minutes. The first time I went in was pretty decent. But way too hard. Admittedly I did request it to be hard. So I went back and asked for medium. What I got that time was an attempt to get me aroused. I mean, she bobbled my junk around with the towel while I was on my back. It wasn't subtle. I'm happily married and was not looking for a happy ending from a total stranger. So I was not aroused and thankfully did not become aroused. And she stopped. I paid and left. Never to return. I don't want massage to be sexual. That would ruin it for me. I just want to relax and unbind my shoulders, goddammit. I wish people would just hire a hooker and stop fetishizing massage therapists. Not a massage therapist, but my daddy's. And this is one of his favorite stories. When his clients come in, he gives them a list of Pandora stations to choose from for the session. A client comes in one day and picks 50s jazz, so like Ella Fitzgerald and stuff. The thing about some of these women from the 50s, some of their songs were not so subtly sexual. One comes on, and it's about a woman asking her lover when he's coming home. But she's singing lines like, "When are you gonna come? Oh, I can't wait for you to come. Come for me, baby. I love it when you come for me." He's in the middle of working on this woman's glutes when the song comes on, and pauses to see if she's awake. She hadn't said anything for a while, so he figures she's just gone to sleep. It's a pain to stop what he's in the middle of working on, walk over to the phone, and wipe all the massage oil off his fingers just to skip the song. So he makes a mental note to remove it from the playlist and keeps working. A few minutes later, when the song is reaching its climax of a woman begging her lover to come, his massage bottle runs out of oil. Not a problem. He always keeps a spare on his hip because this happens. The thing is, sometimes when a bottle is being filled up, a bubble of air gets caught in the tube inside and comes out with the first pump. He goes to pump the oil into his hand, and a mix of oil and air comes out with a loud spludge sound like a cartoonish ejaculation noise. He freezes, one hand on the pump and the other on this woman's ass. She doesn't react, so again he thinks she's probably asleep. Then her entire body starts shaking with laughter. They're both laughing so hard they need to take a break from the massage to compose themselves. Thank God she was chill and found it just as funny as he did. Thank God she was chill and found it just as funny as he did. It would take a special kind of prude to think he actually googed in his hand, to be fair. I get a call from my friend one night. Her boss wants a massage and she recommended me. Since he is my friend's boss, I don't really worry much, and head over to this dude's place with my gear. When I first come in and have everything set up, the dude offers me a Vegas bomb. I pass, and the massage starts as normal. Everything is going normal. The dude was Indian, I think, and was saying how this is great. He would recommend me to all his friends, etc. But about halfway through I hear, "You do happy ending?" My hands just froze. No one had ever asked me that before. My friends make jokes and all, but I'd never before had to deal with a client seriously asking this. The conversation goes like this. "Creepy dude. You do happy ending?" Me. "No." "CD. Why not?" Me. "Because that's disgusting and unprofessional." Me. "We're done here." I stopped the massage, packed up my gear, told him to pay the full price and left. Once I was home, I called up my friend to tell her what a creeper boss was. She started laughing her ass off. Apparently he had asked her if I did happy endings and she thought he was joking and joked back yes. Comparing it to other in this post, at least he asked. My parents own a spa I used to work at. I have a shit ton of stories, but here's a goodie. At one point we had 2 male massage therapists. Now, I worked in the call center, and before booking a massage, we would always clarify if the client was comfortable seeing a male massage therapist, as we had a majority female clientele. But one day this male client books a massage for himself with our male therapist, Ed. He was a new client, and actually requested a male. Whatever. Guy goes in for his appointment, and the first half is normal. Dude's naked on the massage table with a blanket covering his lower half. First half of the massage he is on his stomach. Then Ed tells him to go ahead and flip over to his back to continue. The sucker flips over, hands Ed a wad of cash from who knows where saying "that's for you," and starts to jerk himself off. Ed promptly said, "Alright, your appointment is done, they'll take care of you at the front desk," and books it out of there. Dude pays, leaves with no problem. Here's the kicker. Ed never told my parents, a manager, nothing. We only found out through work gossip. But, because we didn't know about this creep, the guy ended up calling and scheduling another appointment with Ed. We found out shortly after booking the scoop. And the guy was asked to not come back. The spa's a pretty upscale place in the triple-digit price range. So not sure if the guy just thought we were an expensive spa with a side hustle or a really cheap brothel. They'll take care of you at the front desk. Well, this is a strange jerk joint. I have a friend who is a licensed massage therapist and has been studying medicine and been around doctors for much of his life. One of his sessions with a regular female client. While she was face down and he was in front of her, by her head, working on her back. She reached up and grabbed his ass. He asked what she was doing. And she said, "Sorry. I don't know. I couldn't help myself." He told her not to do that again. And the rest of the session continued as normal. At the end of the session he got her a glass of water. And as he turned around to leave she grabbed his ass again. Still she apologized and seemed genuinely upset and embarrassed. Insisting that she just couldn't help herself. My friend ponders for a moment. Before doing a peripheral vision check on her. Her vision is way below what is normal. Massage therapist calls the client's husband and suggests that they go see a doctor. Because there might be something wrong with her impulse control and vision, suggesting maybe some sort of frontal lobe problem. Sure enough. A few days later she had an MRI and there was a tumor developing in her frontal lobe. Glioblastoma, I think. I forget the exact medical language he used. It was removed and she is doing fine now. Ass really do save lives. My wife and I were at a small resort in Costa Rica. When we go on vacation she always gets massages. But I never do. This time we decided to get a couples massage. We get in the room. And the two are waiting for us each by a table. She had this Latin love god. And I a cute girl in her early 30s. They tell us to take off our clothes and gave us these little paper undies. Then left the room. The room was nice, it had a little fountain with some foliage and some soothing sounds from speakers. We each looked at the paper undies, laughed and decided to forego them. It just seemed too silly. They started the massage. And it felt good. She would stretch my arm then start working it, first going over it lightly then gradually getting harder. The time came to do my butt. She moved the towel down and started working my cheeks. Then the inside of my cheeks. Which I thought was odd. But I'm new to this massage world and maybe that's what a deep tissue was. At this time I'm starting to feel not relaxed but insecure. I suddenly become aware of my wife next to me who sounds more than relaxed. Meanwhile back at my butt. She was really doing the inside of the cheeks well. I had hoped this was the last spot she would do. The last thing I want is butt cheek sweat rubbed all over my body. Then started to press down on my actual anus. I felt pressure building up behind her thumb. I clench. And I clench like I never have before. I spin around and say very politely, "Thank you for the massage." My wife. Our time isn't up yet. I told her we have to go now. I told my wife what happened and she laughed at me and said, "Only to you." And now this is her favorite story to tell. She just wanted a little jog down to Browntown. Someone I know, they are female, said that while doing a Brazilian wax on a male he came. She just wiped it up and remained professional. IDK how? Edit. Confusion. I mean you can't control stuff like that, it's biology. So long as he was apologetic about it and not creepy I don't see this being a big deal. I work part-time as a receptionist at a professional massage studio. So, I have never experienced this directly as I'm not a licensed massage therapist. But I do hear the stories afterwards and have to play gatekeeper to the creeps who keep trying to book appointments with us after they've already been kicked out. The most intense story. There's a guy who would come to our studio every few months to see a specific therapist. He would constantly move the sheets and his body around the table, getting very close to exposing himself. The behavior started escalating. Second to last time he was in the studio, he accidentally exposed himself to his therapist. And she raped him and finished out the session. Last time he was here, he pulled the sheets off himself, pointed to his penis, and says, "This is where I hurt." She left the session and hid in the break room until he left the premises and was told to not return. Now, he keeps creating new Google phone numbers and pseudonyms to try to get back in our studio for a session with her. So we need to be extra vigilant in booking this therapist clients because some people are just very determined. Other than that, we do have people call ask if we offer happy endings or if we have any Asian ethnic therapists. Which is usually pretty ridiculous but funny. As long as nobody comes in the studio to try to act on it, there's not much we can do. He pulled the sheets off himself, pointed to his penis, and says this is where I hurt. This is horrifying yet hilarious to picture. Ducking like and subscribe.